ιστορία της αρχαίας Ελλάδας ενέπνευσε τους καθοδηγητές του διαφωτισμού ώστε να αναδείξουν την Ευρώπη ως το μέρος όπου γεννήθηκε και καθιερώθηκε η δημοκρατία. Σήμερα η Ευρώπη είναι από τις πιο ασφαλείς, ελεύθερες και ευημερούσες περιοχές του κόσμου. Ταυτόχρονα όμως αντιμετωπίζει σοβαρές προκλήσεις. Μπορεί η αρχαία Ελλάδα να αποτελέσει και πάλι έμπνευση ώστε η Ευρώπη να περάσει στη νέα εποχή? Ο Σουηδός οικονομολόγος Johan Norberg, ένας από τους πιο γνωστούς και επιδραστικούς οικονομολόγους της σύγχρονης Ευρώπης, πιστεύει ότι μπορεί. Από το 1ο Οικονομικό Φόρουμ των Δελφών μίλησε για τους τρεις παράγοντες που οδήγησαν στην ακμή την αρχαία Ελλάδα και πώς μπορούν να αποτελέσουν οδηγό για τη σύγχρονη εποχή.
Mr. Norberg, here in Delphi, you had the chance of explaining the conditions under which the ancient Greece managed to thrive. Could you share that with us?
Yeah, the Greece Enlightenment 2,500 years ago was world-shattering. It affected everybody in the long term, because so much started here. Why was that? Well, we can look at three different factors. First of all, it was a nation of seafarers and merchants who constantly traveled around doing economic exchange, but therefore also intellectual exchange, picking up new ideas on how to behave, what to do, how to make a city prosper. Second of all, it was not like other entities close by, an empire with just one ruler and one set of rules, but instead independent city-states who were competing and collaborating, and therefore there was more openness to experiments, to different ways of doing things. And third of all, it wasn't an intellectual orthodoxy. It wasn't priest-ridden. There was not a specific priestly caste that imposed an orthodoxy on everybody. So there was always an opportunity to think a little bit differently. And that makes all the difference, because then you have inputs, new ideas from new places, and you can begin to experiment with them in new ways. And then suddenly you get Pericles and Socrates and Aristotle and all the rest.
And how relevant are all these elements to today's Europe?
I think it's incredibly relevant, because we have to continue to be innovative and continue to come up with new ideas, new business models, new technologies. How do we do that? Well, we have to pick up ideas in new places, and we have to allow an openness for surprises and experiments. And that is what I think the ancient Greeks teach us. You know, we have this saying about Socratic wisdom. Socrates thought that the height of wisdom was to know what you don't know. And I think that's incredibly relevant to everything that we're trying to do to grow an economy and create thriving cultures, to have this openness to more people, more eyeballs looking at problems and coming up with new surprising answers.
Why do you think it took so long for Europe to get where ancient Greece was like 2,000 years ago?
I think it's because we had too many empires, we were too priest-ridden, and not enough trade. But once that happened in various places, you know, the Italian city-states, they got it in the 13th century, and that started to create the Renaissance and rediscovering ancient wisdom as well. Later on we got it from the Dutch Republic, the Hanseatic League, and the English and so on. So it happened in various places here and there, but oftentimes it was pushed out, because there was always an attempt to rebuild that orthodoxy, standardize ideas, because someone in charge thought they had all the best ideas, and that always kills progress.
Do you see any elements of that ancient past in today's Greece?
It's very interesting, having listened to many panels today. We heard lots of apologies from lots of people. We've heard Americans apologizing for their protectionism. We've heard Brits apologizing for some aspects of Brexit, which didn't turn out the way they was. But from Greeks, I hear lots of self-confidence. There was such a disastrous economic crisis here just a decade ago. But it has been rebuilding rapidly, and not just economically, but also adapting with, in a way, leapfrogging much of the technology and much of the behaviors that were there before. So I see a much more modern and entrepreneurial and innovative Greece now than I did 10 years ago. And isn't that a way of rediscovering the the innovativeness and entrepreneurship of the ancient Greeks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.